being relocated. Good afternoon, Priscilla. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you just break down for us this story? It's a very interesting story of some residents being relocated to a location without any water and electricity services. Can you just break down for us what exactly is happening in Kongola in the Zambezi region?
What's happening in Kongola is the residents of Kongola are told to relocate from a place where they built their houses long time ago to a new place. They have to find places where they can build their houses where there are no basic services like water, electricity, and the school is far. So people were told that they were going to move since last year, December. I spoke to Bernard Busiku, the Council of Kongola constituency. He explained that when he came into office, he found that there was already money to compensate the people that are going to be relocated. And then it's everyone because they want to bring development in the village.
Mm-hmm.
They want to bring services, even though people don't understand. But they were told that they are going to bring schools and health facilities closer to them.
Good day, my name is Priscilla Mkokovi. I'm reporting from Zambezi region, and today I'm speaking to Geoffrey Mongonda, the youth activist at Kongola. We have heard that the Kongola residents are being relocated. They're moving to places where there's no access to electricity, schools are very far, and they have no access to health facilities, and there's no ablution facilities. So let's hear what he has for us. The people within the jurisdiction of the settlement are expected to move elsewhere, yet they are not compensated fairly. They're moving away from electrified homes to places that either the regional council nor the governor knows of. So what's really happening at Kongola? Why are people relocating? Why are people being relocated?
Yeah, because recently, maybe this past maybe 5 to 6 years back, Congress proclaimed the settlement.
Okay.
So there's a meeting which we held anyhow, but we didn't have someone who really has to do it, especially the settlement control officer, admin officer, who was responsible for the person to give information to the locals, what has to be done, if you have a house, whatever needs to be done, if you have what. So such information was not given. Only people used to come for planning and maybe just in a while, and they won't find maybe a lot of people to ask questions and stuff like that. So people never knew anything about that. So until now, when things got serious, and she was appointed, and the people were paid that they must just move out easy. But now the process of moving out, it was like by force. It wasn't really by negotiation because it's not your will for you to move out from a settlement. So at least also you might also be happy that you are moving out, and you are also happy where you are going.
Okay.
The other thing again.
Okay.
The other thing which is troubling people is that you see the settlement is only one-sided. So that side where the settlement is based is the place which was electrified by the government, and we also have water.
Mm-hmm.
So now, for them who are moving, they are moving 20 km from where people are residing. So it becomes very difficult for them to access schools, the hospitals, clinics. So it's not just good. So and again, if you start raising such issues like as I'm saying, you are now going to be pinpointed as a problem causer, and now you are also causing other people not to move.
Okay. So you're saying the place is owned by someone, and then now they have to move out because someone is taking that land as theirs.
So we are told that because we are paving a way for development. So we also want our Kongola to be developed, like other places where they have towns and such. But it must be done in a way that all of us and on the ground we are all happy and satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why people don't feel that.
Well, how do people feel about the relocating or them being relocated at a place where there's no electricity, water, health facilities, ablution facilities, and stuff. So how are they feeling? How is their reaction, and how are they responding? Yes.
Now, how can I say? It's just kind of complicated.
Okay.
And people want to understand us in different forms, in different ways. But the fact is, everything has a beginning and has the end of it. So in the beginning, things were messed up. There were not enough time to educate people and let them know what are their rights in their jurisdiction where they are, and once moved, what are still their rights and what they can claim and stuff like that. So people here, they are only being told that you are going to move without being told what are the benefits and what are the subsidies, that things that you need to encounter once you are moving, you see. But when you now check the policy states different things. Like when you are in a settlement, when you are maybe expanding your courtyard, doing whatever, expanding your house, all such expenses need to be added on. But since this settlement was proclaimed, such was not done. So they will only tell you if you build something else after, it's been maybe now 9 years. And you expect me to be just in a small house just because the place where I am, it's been proclaimed as a settlement. Maybe I have 3 kids now, so I cannot build them a house to sleep. So we just have to be suffering on one room just like that, because if I build something, I won't be paid. So that's not the case. So when you see the policy speaks about, you can build anything that you are building because you are a human being and you are there. It's only that you have given your right and your place for development to take place. So that doesn't affect you that you must not live a better life, or maybe whatever extend to something else different. So for now, things are not like that. So maybe other houses were even excluded because they are newly built. But now it's not understandable as such. So yeah, people are furious. So other people refuse to pay it, and they don't want to relocate.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the feelings of people. And some other people even think of maybe just to stop the settlement, so they just have to reside where they are. They don't want to move.
So are they given new land?
No, they are not. You see, that's the case now.
So they have to find their own land. Their own places where they're going to build their houses.
You have to find your own place, and then from there you go and start your own village there. So what I know and what I knew from the start is that since the proclamation of the settlement, the regional council came on the ground, and then from there they went to the traditional authority and also asked them, because traditional authority are the custodian who owns the land, who not owns really, but are the people who are giving directions to people on the ground where they can reside. Through their office, it goes to Minister of Land, and then the process continues. So, but that was not done. Since the agreement with the traditional authority, now from regional council, didn't go back to the traditional authority to arrange a place that could be maybe make a compound, something like a compound where people can be moved. Then that place can be made of whatever the basic, especially electricity and water available, so that people who are moving from settlement, who has that type of things which are given by the government, must not also go suffer a lot. So you have a fridge, you have a stove, you have what, you have TV, and then you go pay them because where you are going, there's no power. So it's like vice versa. The government has uplifted us in the other way around, and then again now it's taking us back again to where we came from. See now.
Yes. All right. So are people prepared to relocate, to move?
As I'm speaking, the people from first phase, the rest of them moved already.
Oh, they've moved already.
Yeah, they moved already. We are talking about second phase now. Now the payment which we're done now, it's the second phase. Even me, myself, I'm also in a settlement. So my village is the last place where the settlement ends.
Okay.
So the third phase, I'll also be paid out. So that's when now I've been speaking from the first phase. I've been speaking about it, telling people like, can we sit down maybe with the traditional authority, regional council, then we have an agreement of saying that maybe they can identify a place where people can move, so that you must not suffer a lot, at least to a place which is accessible to schools and all the services that are really needed and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, but then they will only see you that you are a person against people and stuff like that, maybe against the authority, just like that.
All right. What will become of the kids? I mean, the school kids, now that the school is far?
That's the problem. That's the worst scenario, that kids, when you're staying far, then at least you must be able to have money for you to afford a taxi to be picking your kids every day. Then if you can't afford one, then your kids will be struggling. Maybe today she's going or he's going. The other day they are not going at school and stuff like that. So end of the day, you are parents to be blamed, but you didn't have any choice to do with that.
Okay.
So even though people, they couldn't realize that the first time, it was good that they got some little money that they couldn't get in a long-term period of time. But yeah, so I can see for now they can see the long term of it, because them, they were only thinking about the short term. But the long term, they can see that the kids now, they are in jeopardy, that they won't be able to go to school, or access other whatever things that need to be a part of the essential needs in a person's life.
Oh, okay. Is there anything being done by the director of education or the inspector?
For such, on our group, we have these other guys, my friends, who are also youth activists. So we sat down, then we wrote a letter to the CRO in town, so that she can also look on that issue before we continue, because end of the day, some other people won't be able to move from town, because we need really good negotiations so that all our needs also they are met. We know we are paving a way for development, but that development must not take us back again where we came from. We have strived our lives to make our villages look good, and the life that we live here is all fine. We don't need anything again to move, but we agreed because we knew that we are paving development for our community as such, but at the end of the day, it must not be a loss factor. So we're still fighting anyhow, even though our fight is very slow, because we are not recognized as maybe you are from where, which ministry and stuff, or you're what, but we are only just people who are just concerned about the issues is going on. But yeah, we keep fighting. We'll see how far it can go.
All right. Okay, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Yeah.
And who did you manage to speak to with regards to this story?
I spoke to the youth activist who is in Kongola at the moment, Geoffrey Mungondo, and I also spoke to Walvita, who's also in Kongola, one of the residents who is affected. Yes, he was actually speaking in our vernacular in Lori. He was saying they are really affected because now they have to find places. There's no water. They have to they have to carry their packets from way to their new places to the old places to go fetch water, and it's a long distance from here. Let me say, from how will I say the distance from Clear Window. Let me just give an example to how far the distance is from Clear Window to Maruamo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have to walk that distance just to fetch water
to get to the basic services that they need.
Yes.
Right.
And also, their kids will be affected because they have to go to school, and then maybe sometimes they won't be going to school because of the distance, and then it will affect their education.
Right.
They might end up failing.
Okay.
No, tulavutata vo vire kwa Kongola. Bakweli kuti mosola kupangiwa anto relocate. Chalo mina fomu kutwa chwani. Eso pagilo kale relocate kapa msainzi kwa old place amina kone muyahile za pili.
Never happen.
Na mzee chale fomu kutwa chwani mumu vonela tava
Nefika kutwa ande. Agenka kuri esi hamwezi wa relocate kumizisa fa place yene muinanga kuri afase seri town. Swana kuri praise nibona kuri komu ya kuna ni malaiti vakensa kuri ne muna ni malaiti ona fo komu ya kufumane animezi ona kafera zeo ne vasikazi vala zeo. Ne vasikazi vala zeo kuri ichwanya kuri watu ne ibona kuyo ipapya kwa kayo pila ona yo shere nyene basiwe hape esikuli andikiye ngata ho kono molava atakuli batu ba hohema laiti mezi chwao
Na luvona kuti bana ba skolo basa vaenzi kwa hule ni skolo spatela sesinzi kwa hule chole vana vamina muvona chwangi kuti kalulo yeo muivona chwangi mina
mani kalulo yeo chale niona neyezea hu disadvantage ya hu vanana maniseli kwa hule kwa skolo
kana muvona kuti vanana vakava affected kuti havana kupasa vakana vayanga kwa skolo because vatali tutoka pa mvona chwangi
mani niona yako na kuvaeza affect lakini sakuli sina kwanu hava ya kwa skolo kakusasa kutaesi manziwa nakuli vakayo litera wanako kuli abazwa fani kulitera hape kuli aika kwana nako ya study bakute hape sai haba katte hako hai aina kuvalumera kuli batofita kwa hai inako hape ya kuta kwa score which means they already affected
kana taveone mkire mwaivulela kwa office kwa kuvo inspector kapa kuvo minister kuvo director wa education
nyasikaivulela akensa kuli nauvoni kuli ane unani mkopano fa ofisi ya kansela nako emwi chale vatu kona litavazeni vasoli kuzwisa kuvirala onazeo kuli au kaya kwa hule banana wakayo pila chwangi kala kuvo minister au kaka kwa kumuyane usikali visa
Mwentukula ni manzo mafelelezo mbata kuvulela kwa manani mvutata vuvumikenezi
manzi amafelelezo fela kiona nafa kuvuya kuli avayo comfortable kona manyando oso kunyanda onawa babanana kuli ko kwa hole
alright
You also spoke to the councillor in Kongola. What can you tell us in terms of this regard?
I spoke to the councillor. Yes, like I mentioned earlier, he said that people were told, they were already informed that they were going to be relocated. They must just be ready and money allocated for them. Money that should be used to build their houses, money that should be used to buy their needs for the meantime. It's Bernard Osiho.
Yes, I am.
Okay, so what do you have to say? What are your views on that?
As far as I know, the settlement for Congo is coming a long way since 2008. That's when the settlement was gazetted by Township Board. And it took us time in order to convince our people to pave the way for development, which they need. And when I came into office, I found that there is money already reserved for compensation for the people who are living in the settlement area. And what we did last year is to have a checklist on those people who are in the hotspot areas in order for them to be compensated, because we had at least 5.6 million for compensation. We went to those people to verify their names and their properties, and also asked them to sign if they want to move out to pave the way for development, and at least 70% of the people signed the agreement with the regional council in order to get payments. And so far, we are talking about 5 million that has been spent on compensation. And we are still waiting for some other people to be compensated as well when we get money. And I've seen some people already allocated some piece of area by traditional authority. And yeah, that is what is happening.
All right. Parents, were people given a notice to relocate?
Yes. They were, yes.
All right. A year after or a month? How long was the notice?
Yeah, when we were giving them, when we had a meeting, we told them that as soon as you get the money, you will be given at least 3 months to move. And that was already last year somewhere, December, when most of the people got payments. And then we're looking forward that at least by the next of the financial year, we should have to start with some infrastructure services in Congola.
All right. Parents are complaining that the school is far for their kids, and there are no basic services to where they are relocating. What are your views on this? Are you going to help them bring services closer to them?
Yes, the services that we are bringing closer to the people is the town. A town is a service. And that town has got 3 schools or either plots for education. 3 plots for education. And where people are moving now, it is the mandate of the regional council to make sure that we provide them with necessities such as water, electricity, if funds are available. They know that. And we cannot do that within a short period of time because the government processes, they take so long. But we know, yes, people have moved because of development. They don't want to walk longer distance to Katima to get their basic services, but rather maybe just a walkable distance. They need to serve the purpose.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Is there anything that you want to maybe inform your residents or any advice to them?
Yeah, what I want to inform our residents is that cooperation is highly needed in order for us to make sure that we pave way for development and cut a distance that we are walking. And I therefore seek all necessary support from the residents of Congola constituency and also Zambezi region in order for us that we should have to have good things in our areas.
All right.
Good.
Thank you so much, Councillor.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye.
And that is what we are getting right there from the Zambezi region in Congola in regards to the residents that were relocated and are claiming that they have no access to basic services. And it's exactly 26 minutes past the hour of 1. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
Ulio mnangeshifa niwahara kushivifa oma kuroyo kupitira muhurike radio station ayo Eagle FM enya mukuro olongaha ningekwata fano na Monica kushikondosho ipindi kono rahitatu imwe heali imwe ne heali imwe no hamano. That is 0817147116 momberewa kono rahitatu natu mbali o hetatu vatatu ne nola no natu nenge tumo emaila ku monica@eaglefm.com.na opomone oshijemo shiri nawa.
Eagle FM, the eye. oshiputudhilo shopombanda shopaungomba sho clocknet VTC otashi kunkilile oshigwana kutya omaishangitho gamaalitsa oga tameka nangu una ehalo nohokwe okutsikila eilongo lyoye mookoosa tadhi landula hospitality, plumbing no carpentry. Endelela paife ukiishangithe koshitayi shawo shokokahao. Nongele uli omukalimo womovenduka nowuna ohokwe nehalo lyokutsikila eilongo lyoye mo office administration, electronics, clothing production and counseling service, mbukunde diteteka omanga oyeru inaaliya. Omaishangitho oga tameka nale notaga hulu mu 4 gaMaalitsa 2022. Kuuyelele wagwedhwapo dhengela koonomola dhoongodhi tadhi landula 081 23 85 225 nenge ko 085 20 22 552. Email training@cvtc.com.na.
What is your take?
Let all of us.
The first free-range eggs.
Deputy Executive Director for Formal Education in the Ministry of Education, Art and Culture, Edda Boha, at the official opening of English workshop with the purpose to respond to the needs and challenges identified from different regions in English as a second language, said that English performance has been a challenge over the past few years. She said the ministry has been recording unsatisfactory performance below 40% over the past years.
English today is established and has a position in the global lingua franca. This status, together with the globalization of the economic integration and the internet, has made English the one language of the symbols of our time. Although it is a native language to a huge number of people, for us, English is mostly spoken and taught as a second language for many non-English speaking inhabitants, but also around the world. Non-English speaking countries have also adopted often English as a formal language. So for us, performance in English has been a concern and a severe challenge over the past few years. The ministry has been recording this unsatisfactory performance of below 40%. And this is at the National Senior Secondary Certificate Ordinary level. So it's not only a concern for us at national level, but this poor performance has been also recorded in the junior and the primary phases, and of course then influences your career choices and the way you can engage in higher learning later on. So this sign is an area of concern in the whole system, which needs like an overhaul, needs to be addressed from all stakeholders in education. And according to our strategic plan, our strategic objective is to improve the core skills and literacy in basic education, which is an effort, or our effort to promote quality education. The NDP 5, that's the National Development Plan that spans from 2017 to 2021, including, we overlap to March 2022, that's now approaching us, is the end of NDP 5. English performance targets, as well as learners qualifying for institutions of higher learning, that's in university admission. The targets have not been met over the years, consistently not been met. So this poor performance has been noted with a course of decline with a general academic performance as well. So, and then of course also the admission to university. And then in addition to that, it is being seen as a measure of a declining education system. So we are sitting with this challenge to turn the situation around.
Deputy Director said that over the past years, the target was to improve year by year by 5%. But in 2017, the performance was 28%, and in 2018, the performance was 30%. They said the ministry has 5% increment, but their target was 45%. The deputy executive said that what the ministry has observed so far is that it missed its target because they are currently sitting at 23% instead of 45%.
So this challenge and the gaps in our education system, in particular in language teaching, are numerous, and the causes have to be, zoomed into. Therefore, it's our priority to carry out interventions that will remedy this challenge. The ministry has done, as Mr. Eman also already referred to, an investigative research through the Directorate of National Examination and Assessment in 2019, probing into the causes of this persistent poor performance at English secondary, in English as a second language at ordinary level. So this report gives us a great insight into the situation, which will guide us in different interventions that, if applied, should improve the teaching and learning. And therefore, we need to collaborate with all regional officers, directorates, and teachers as one. The common gap identified and as reviewed was the poorly early language development as a foundation for acquiring a language. So this is not, if the foundation is not properly laid during the primary levels, as many learners are not exposed to the language, and the teachers tend to teach in mother tongue even beyond grade 4, then this affects the comprehension until the further grades to come. So the ministry started with this intervention on emphasizing strategies how to improve teaching a language at developmental levels. And as we heard already, that is the Jolly Phonics program. So teaching on the principles of basic phonics, similar to the early grade reading assessment and the avenue how to get there. So one of the effective ways of improving teaching and learning is teachers' capacitation. We want to build the teachers' capacity through continuous professional development and in-service training. This is an impactful exercise, like you are here now all together, and we would like to provide to qualified as well as unqualified teachers in the system the opportunity to update and upgrade their subject knowledge, especially when combined with the required co-mentoring, observation monitoring, and creating this consistent feedback cycle. So against this background, the ministry is making an effort to invest more in providing continuous professional development activities to all regional English second language senior education officers, and they, as part of the advisory service, or we also call them as part of professional development.
According to the research that was done, teachers encountered a number of challenges in classroom practice. The research further observed that some school principals are especially concerned about the language proficiency of teachers. Their findings of these two studies revealed that teachers are not fluent in the language and the school environment is not conducive for learning English. Recent research continues to discover that teachers are not confident to teach in English, thereby affecting learners' performance negatively, especially in external examinations. Eagle FM has also spoke to Secretary General of Teachers Union Kavihuha Mahongora, who have previously spoke against English being a requirement to further education. English today has established and has a position on the global lingua franca. So many people are speaking and learning English as a second language. From your point of view, do you think the Ministry of Education will ever consider putting English aside as a requirement for learners who excel in other subjects, particularly those who are in rural areas?
Look, the issues of English, we had various debates around it, especially when you want to make it as a requirement to the higher institution. Because the performance of a child in mathematics can never be relied on English. That is one. And the second aspect is that the approach towards English, when we migrated from the other languages to English medium of instruction, the emphasis was never put on English as a language. It was put in English as a medium of communication. So the curriculum was more communicative kind of things rather than the English itself in terms of grammar, in terms whatsoever. So our approach was a communicative English, which almost everyone now in Namibia is able to communicate in English. But when you go to writing, it was never an emphasis. That's why they even removed the literature from schools and all those kind of things. When we are saying that if you want to make English as a medium of instruction, or not a medium of instruction, but as a requirement to go to university or any other institution, then you must bring back the real things you have to teach for those kids for them to form the basis of it. As long as you have the communicative approach of English, it will be unfair for you to make English as a requirement to go to university or any other high learning institution. So, and also now the same people that have been taught English without literature are the ones that become the English teachers. So now, but the literature itself, it enhances you to develop a culture of reading. It enhances you to analyze the texts. It enhances you in areas of grammar. So it makes you a best, language teacher, as opposed to the communicative English that we have adopted at independence and the one that we taught in schools.
We also have teachers, especially in rural areas, who are very good at their work. They are just not good at English. By looking at them and imagining this person trying to, by all means, to take what he knows into a student who doesn't understand English, how can we balance the two?
I am also hesitant to agree with you that we have teachers that are in rural areas who are struggling with English, where there is in overall, where you have a specific teacher who's struggling in whatever school subject, you find it in rural areas or in urban areas. What is most important aspect is the continuous professional development for those people in order to embrace the changes that are coming up with the language and with time. So what is most important aspect is that it will be a blank check for you to say that we have teachers in rural areas who cannot do ABCD, because those that go to rural areas are those teachers that are completing their qualifications in teaching like any other one also absorbed in the urban area. Unless if you have a situation where we have some very remote schools where you end up recruiting those that are not qualified, that only gave grade 12 or they perform very poorly in grade 12 kind of thing. That is a different argument in itself. But the most important, they emphasize the issues of in-service training, because the country cannot continue having a piecemeal courses like the one that you are referring to without a clear-cut policies on in-service training. We don't know, because if you go to countries like Japan, it is clear in their policies that after 3 years, all the teachers just go back at least for refresher courses for 3 months. So that is a clear indication we'll talk about. But if in this case, you have called a small group of teachers together. In some instances, they are called to be like novice teachers or to be added as a trainer of a trainee. After they go back to their region, there is no budget set for them to go and transmit this knowledge to someone else. Or they are called now, there is no budget, they just remain until the next 5 or 4 years or whatsoever. Then the new group is called back again and all those kind of things. The problem is that we are doing things unorganized, unsystematic, to the extent that even those courses that we want to bring forth they are not even helping us in any particular manner. So those short courses, as long as they're not directed, as long as they continue in a fashion that they're doing now, I'm telling you that they are not adding value to education. In absence of in-service training policies in the education sector. Because some teachers, they finish, they are dumped at a school. The mistake that you have done at that school in your first day at that school, you repeat it for the next 25 years until you retire. Because there is no service training.
Yeah.
There is no policies on in-service training. Yeah.
Thank you, Master Mahongora, for speaking with Eagle FM.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
And keep on calling.
That is what we're getting right there from the education sector. Now, Rudolph, you being on the ground and seeing these teachers also go through the workshop, I'm not sure how many were involved in this English training workshop, but just on your view, do you think English is one of those important subjects that we do need, or is it because of the Western world that we are now forced to leave this situation?
Justicia, the fact remains that English has now been made as a medium of instruction in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's coming to the issue of making English as a
compulsory subject,
compulsory and a means to test people's intelligence, and I mean, we in different schools now in our country, I mean, if you don't speak a better English, you are regarded as not well educated.
Yes.
In so many ways, but that is not really the case. If you ask people in China,
mm-hmm.
or people in French, or people in European countries, they will tell you the most basic important subjects are being taught in their mother languages,
mm-hmm.
which is mathematics, physics,
science.
All the science language,
Yes,
all the
science,
subject that can do everything
mm-hmm.
in this room
mm-hmm.
is being taught in their languages. So, which is make them easy to understand, to grasp, and to progress. Now, with us, we are coming from different backgrounds with a lot of
languages, yes.
languages that we have. To adapt to English as a medium of instruction language, it's really a struggle,
mm-hmm.
because so far, I mean, we can still tell we have a lot of students who are doing very well in so different languages.
Yeah.
But this particular person cannot go for further study because we have a bad somebody in English.
And then they are held back for that 1 year just to go improve.
Yeah.
So it's quite a sad reality. But maybe this is because of the 13 ethnic languages that we have. But also looking at it, English is not only the only subject that holds students back.
Exactly.
We have mathematics as well, which is one of those subjects. If you do bad in it, then you don't progress on to the next grade. So it's a whole debate whether or not English should be put out there and all that. But of course, do feel free to engage us on this topic, and that is on 083 288 401. We'll be taking a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
You always get more at Woolman Brock. Get 5 kilogram Top Score maize meal for only $49.99. 750 gram Kellogg's cornflakes for only $46.99. 2 kilogram Rice King parboiled rice for $28.99. And 750 gram Crofton Blackwell mayonnaise for $28.99. Woolman Brock, we care.
The Namibia Training Authority and the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, in partnership with the African Union and WorldSkills International, proudly presents WorldSkills Africa Swakopmund 2022. Join us at the Dome from the 28th of March to 2nd of April 2022 for this landmark showpiece for technical and vocational skills in Africa, as competitors from across the continent demonstrate their talents in 16 different trade categories, aspiring to the prestigious title of African African champion. WorldSkills Africa Swakopmund 2022 also includes an international conference and a careers exhibition and is made possible through the support of its official event partners, the European Union and the German government. Join us as we leverage the importance of technical and vocational skills. Unite with us as we build skills for Africa.
Mwakatiko rubede roude undi ora tienjo o Eagle FM ayarira era karaimba mbe hinaraka. Tuhanasa na chinene o mahungi wenyando o maihameno o ruhothe no maunjiro. Na wina kukara no mapuriro wabana ni wetu yoshiwana. Na wina kobe o kuhungira ohungano mamwi no woye. Kokusha ora tienjo o Eagle FM ika onje ko murungu no mekurisi no woshiwana. Matu hepa oriameto roye mushimbesho bina bibali na imbi heri ombiri harukwao. Shimwe omaongole wadombudhe nonjibisiro na wina inji on demokrasia ihe muupranga wayo. Hinda ombatro ye yodorande ethere no i waeleta on blue waeleta po isi waeleta konomo orange. Onora ohambonda to imwe ombali odonora mbali oine oimwe odo ine mbali. Miaro kana nombo orange rukwao. Onora ohambondatu oimwe ombali odonora mbali oine oimwe odo ine mbali po hinda no EFT po shita o stop order ko Eagle Media House kombanga njo kamuti FNB on branch ko utenji ombali ohambondatu onora oimwe ohambombali ombali moshomithe miar kana branch ko utanjo ombali ohambondatu onora oimwe ohambombali ombali moshomithe wakao namba kumwe.
Eagle FM, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm great.
What do you have for us?
Oh, you were speaking about the English language.
Yes.
Well, for myself, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because even when you're applying for a job in government, be it as a clerk or a driver or for the police or NDF, they require the comprehension of English.
Mm-hmm.
I think the type of English that we learn at school is not that advanced to say it's A-level or what. It is just functional English.
Mm-hmm.
For you to be able to write a letter or because when you go to university or when you work, for you to be able to write a letter or write a memo or read a policy and understand it for yourself or make a submission or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that you have English, and it's not that English is that advanced, or it's just functional English or basic English. So I don't really think there's anything wrong with English being a requirement at university. It's not that they're asking for a D or a B.
Mm-hmm.
They ask for a D or a C. And if you don't do it in grade 12, there is an option for you to go to upgrade your English. So it's not something that will hinder the progress of someone to say, if you don't do it at grade 12, then that's the end of it. You have an option to improve your English at the end of the day.
All right. Thank you so much for contributing to today's On the Radar News Bulletin.
Okay.
All right. Now, moving on, the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism has said that the ongoing elephant auction in Namibia has come to an advanced stage. Now, they say that they are currently busy capturing 57 elephants that they successfully captured 57 elephants, and a total of 37 elephants have already been captured, consisting of 15 to remain in Namibia and 22 to be exported to their destination, which would then be announced later on. This was said by the ministry spokesperson, Romeo Muyunda, who says that 15 elephants that remain in Namibia were captured from Omachete area in Erongo region and are already supplied to Nakuse as a successful bidder, and the 22 elephants were meant for export destinations, were captured from Kamanyap commercial farming areas in Kunene region and supplied to D.H. Ordinal as one of the successful bidders, and the elephants are currently kept safely in a quarantine facility waiting to be exported. And they also add that the remaining 20 is still to be captured pending the issue of the site permits from the country. And they further added that a total of 170 elephants were offered in a tender advertised on the 3rd of December 2020 and which closed on the 29th of January 2021. Now, Moyunda says that the elephants that were put on auction includes 30 from Machete area, 50 from Kamanyap commercial farming, 60 from Grootfontein Kavango cattle range, and 30 from Grootfontein Tsunkwe area. Now, he says that with the auction, they intend to reduce elephant numbers in specified areas to minimize human-elephant conflicts, which has become a persistent a persistent issue, which is damaging properties and life loss. Now, they further add that through this, they intend to generate 5.9 million from the auction, of which 4.4 million is already paid to the game product trust fund. Now, now Muyunda adds that the funds generated through this auction will then be used for conservation and management of wild resources and rural development, including community conservancies, and this will also be used for human-wide conflict management and management of national parks. That is what we're getting from the Ministry of Environment in regards to the elephant auctions that started late in 2020, and it's exactly 54 minutes past the hour of 1. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be back with more news.
To our valued listeners and all Namibians, we are living in unprecedented times which have seen some extraordinary steps being taken, some of which have suspended the most basic of human rights.
And this is because for the first time ever since our country won its independence, we have been hit by a dangerous virus, which is a threat to our livelihoods, the COVID-19.
The situation calls for us not to panic, but to work together and eradicate the spread of the virus. At Eagle FM, we urge you to always wash your hands with soap or use hand sanitizers,
limit or avoid travel and respect our laws and obey authority.
We have the answer, and we will fight this the Namibian way. As Namibians, together as one Namibia, one nation. Let's stand together against COVID-19.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
This is actually, to put it mildly, an economic scandal.
Fraud. So
not fraud, it's a scandal. Why do you give a tender to somebody who does not have capacity to build? Why should you do that? You know a person that does not have a capacity to build.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
That's why I'm always telling people in Parliament, let me not take up my Katatura menace.
Right.
Because I grew up in Katatura. And I will not hesitate to tell you off if it is needed to do.
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
My response in terms of Rwanda at 6% is that we had been there before. We've had 6% growth before. It's not something that Namibia has not achieved in the past, and it's not something that Namibia will not be able to achieve in the future.
Eagle FM, the eye.
Now, today in the morning, the IPPR today launched their new anti-corruption project. This is in regards to Integrity Namibia, and let's just have a listen to what has transpired in that report.
Will face the same prospect as well. So what we're setting this up because of this frustration, because I think we need to say enough is enough. We need to act now. Those of us outside government, outside the state, we can do something, should do something, and we hope that this platform and this project of Integrity Namibia will allow that to happen. So there's a couple of quotes which I think are often used in the context of corruption and wrongdoing. The first one is usually attributed to Edmund Burke, who was an Irish statesman about 100 years ago, but actually he's fact checkers, and we also do fact checking now. debunked that, and it's not clear who actually said this. And maybe that's good. It should have public ownership. This quote is so good, apart from the sexist language. So the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And just to add to that, a quote from Martin Luther King, our lives begin to end the day we become silent and about the things that matter. So those are kind of our starting points, really. We need to act as a society against corruption. We can't leave it to others. And the kind of frustrations and anger that we saw after Fish Rock was exposed, well, we had one of the bigger demonstrations on the street marching to the office of the ACC. That's largely dissipated now, or we don't see it. So we need to channel that kind of outrage and upset of the corruption situation in Namibia into action. And that's what we hope to do in one way or another for this project. So we want to get the different sectors of society to stand up, and we'll be talking to the different representative bodies and different people in these sectors in the next weeks and months about this. So we need the private sector to stand up. We need the lawyers to stand up. I mean, maybe you might say, well, the lawyers are just private sector. But, you know, the lawyers, the legal profession in this country has been heavily tainted by the Fish Rock scandal. And again, the impunity of certain rotten apples in the legal profession who are still operating, and no challenge, no effective challenge from the Law Society or any other professional bodies is deeply worrying. We need the faith-based organisations, the churches to stand up. We need civil society to do a much better job. We need academia to stand up. And we need the sectors that are already playing a good role, like the media also, to stand up and extend their commitment on these issues. So, in closing, I'd just like to say this is not just me. So I'm going to be the coordinator of this project. But also on our team is Tulane Monguli, who's here. Tulane's in the house at the back. So Tulane Monguli.
After months of elbow high fives, turn up the vibes with Toffel Radler. It's beer, but extra. Buy any Toffel Radler today and taste extra flavor. Not for persons under the age of 18. Enjoy responsibly.
Working as our main investigator and researcher on this project. And then Roswitha Mbumbu, who's also here. Roswitha's also here. She's a law graduate from the University of Namibia, so she'll also be working in a research capacity on this project. Titus Adua, I don't think Titus is here, but he's an ICT expert who will be assisting us with the ICT elements of the project, primarily the setting up of the whistleblower protection, so the whistleblower reporting platform is an online platform. Johanna Wolf, she's going to be the project accountant and handling administration issues. And then finally, I'd just also like to acknowledge Raquel Andres of the US Embassy, because we can't do this without the support of partners and donors, and in this case, the US Embassy has really stepped up to support what is, for us, a significant and also quite a long-term project over 3 years. So I think, you know, our hope is that Integrity Namibia can't do everything, but it can play an important role in making sure that corruption is tackled more effectively in the future, and making sure that people involved in corruption and wrongdoing are held to account. So on that note, as I said, I don't want to run too long. This is just to introduce the project, but if you have any questions or queries about what we're doing, the next public event will probably be a conference at the coast in 2 to 3 months, plus the launch of the website, which will include the whistleblower online reporting platform. We're going to try and learn from others' experiences on that as well, including Corruption Watch in South Africa and the African Whistleblower Protection Platform, as well as other bodies who have civil society whistleblower reporting platforms. And then we'll be working amongst the different sectors in society over the next 2 to 3 months to have focus groups, maybe calling to some of you to small consultation meetings, so that we can get a good idea of what people think might work in Namibia, how this can be organised effectively. So if there are any questions or points, issues that people would like to know more about, the floor is open.
That is what we're getting from IPPR. Now moving over to more on our news bulletin, the Commissioner General of the Namibia Correctional Services, Raphael Hamunyela, has responded to the issue of a smuggled cell phone device by one of the fish rot accused, James Hatukalipi, and he says that it goes without saying that as a professional correctional officer with over 27 years of experience in the field of correction, he is surprised by the he abides to the constitutional and legal responsibilities that are embedded within the position that he holds, that is the Commissioner General. Now, this also comes as the PDM has approached the correctional services regarding the operations and are alleging that they do not have proper security when it comes to items that come in and out of the correctional services. Now, however, he adds that he is dismayed by the allegations reported in media on several occasions and how he is on how he is allowing Namibian correctional facilities to be run like a pig side. Now, he says this surprises me especially because recently a delegation from PDM visited the Windu Correctional Facility, and I would expect that if it was the case that your delegation entered the facility without any security checks and whether the environment at the facility can be compared to that of a pigsty, you should have brought this to my attention. Now, he added that based on PDM's thoughts through the media reports, this brings another surprise as he is not aware of media reports suggesting that he is allowing Namibian correctional facilities to be run by to be run like that as they are alleging. Now, the letter is alleging that he has not taken any precautionary measures to ensure that the fish rot accused persons do not have access to unauthorized devices and or for their use to invade justice. Thus, he said that there is no one more aware of the high-profile case of the accused in question other than the correctional officers on the ground and himself. Now, he adds that we are being reminded of this case every day in the news. He adds that the correctional services received when the correctional services received this group of accused persons from the Namibia Police Force, he issued an operational order for the management of the accused in person, which is in regards to the fish rot scandal, in an order dated 3rd January 2020. And he adds that the order clearly restricts movements and aims to minimize access of officers to be accused, as well as movement of accused from the unit where they are accommodated and movement for inspection of goods meant for the accused. Now, he adds that it is because of these very operation orders that one senior correctional officer was suspended for alleged allegations of bringing or convincing to bring a mobile phone to one of the accused, while another officer was suspended on accusation of escorting one of the accused to an industrial workshop without being authorized to do so. Now, Munyela added that a correctional service officer was also forced to resign after she was caught communicating telephonically and evidence suggesting that she was engaging a telephonic affair with one of the accused. Now, he adds that there has also been a myriad of staff rotations working, and when irregularities occur in this respect, the operational orders are observed. Now, he adds that the party which should then take note that the fish rot accused are not only the concern for the Namibia Correctional Services, as mobile phones and even other unauthorized articles such as drugs and other equipment escape or are equally a threat to the facility as well as the security of the correctional services and the public at large. Now, he adds that the NSC produced a video engaging the public to refrain from smuggling unauthorized articles into the facility, and this video was then released on social media platforms last year in April. And he says that he issued orders of administrative direction and policies to deal with matters of breach of operational procedures and policies, as well as disciplinary procedures. Now, in addition, he says that correctional officers undergo basic training for 6 months, and where the subjects of manipulation, unauthorized articles, disciplinary measures, and all related matters and policies form part of the training. Now, he adds that the introduction of regulations will also be seen as successful installation, will also see a successful installation of proper security features once it's tabled in Parliament. Now, seeing last month when one of the fish rod accused, that's James Hatukolipi, was found with a smartphone at the Window Correctional Services. Now, it has been said by the Deputy Commissioner, Vaiko Armas, that he does not know how the Samsung cell phone was found or made its way into the possession of Hatukalipi, and he had said that Hatukalipi would be subject to a disciplinary hearing in relation to the smuggled device. He also added that investigations have been completed and they would then continue or would then appear for this disciplinary hearing. And he indicates that this is the third time that Hatukalipi, who has been fingered as the mastermind behind the fish rod corruption, has been found with a cell phone inside the correctional facilities. Now, that is what we're getting from the prison cells right there at the Window Correctional Services. It's exactly 9 minutes past the hour of 2. We're going to take a short commercial break, but do feel free to engage us on this topic on 083 288 401. That's, of course, 083 288 401.
Speak your mind while respecting the opinions of others.
But how can you say Namibia was brought on a silver platter when so many people were massacred?
No, that's not what I mean. I mean on the silver platter.
In terms of the infrastructure.
Of the infrastructure. You know, there were schools, there were roads, there were...
Be part of the debate by setting the agenda.
To grab that victory against Ivory Coast will be a big one for us. It will be the first.
For social position to raise a child. What does that mean? Baby dumping.
Eagle FM lets you talk.
The commander say hold fire, they hold fire. When the commander says fire, they fire. You know, they are trained to kill. We are trained to arrest people and bring them before court.
Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of favor.
That's why some of us wear unbranded clothes because it's about selling their product.
So talk on Eagle FM. Eagle FM, the eye. Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear.
Eagle FM, hello.
Hello, is this Tisha?
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Yes. What do you have for us?
I have for you the comment today, which I so unhappy with what is happening at the Katima, where the leader saying pave a way for development. Move people from the censored rent to uncensored rent, and we tell them to pave a way. What is mean? That is an insult to the nation. You move people. You see, you were coming up with a reason by telling that you see they were given electricity, they were not paying electricity. They were given water, they were not paying water. That's an understandable reason. But what he tell us, he wanted to because they said they wanted to compensate. They have a money to compensate the people, to move people from the censored rent to uncensored rent. People are requested to sacrifice their well-being. But in Namibia, we call the country independent, and then we have our leader, which we vote to power. This leader, we don't know what kind of leader we have. Those who are insulting that they are voters. That is an insult. You cannot tell the nation like that. If the people, they tell you that it is far away from school, our children's schools. It's far away from the hospital. And then also to collect water. And then you said you feel proud of even telling the nation, even say, come the air, to tell the nation that we want to move them because we want them to pave our way for development. What people are feeling there? And they said the place is already sold. Sold to whom? That is not a way we are going to treat our nation. That is not the way. We don't want to hear that. That is an insult.
Thank you so much for contributing to today's On the Radar bulletins.
And that is what we're getting from our caller right there in contributing to our show. It's exactly 12 minutes past the hour of 1. We're going to take a short commercial break and we'll be back with regional, international, and continental news.
To our valued listeners and all Namibians, we are living in unprecedented times which have seen some extraordinary steps being taken, some of which have suspended the most basic of human rights.
And this is because for the first time ever since our country won its independence, we have been hit by a dangerous virus, which is a threat to our livelihoods, the COVID-19.
The situation calls for us not to panic, but to work together and eradicate the spread of the virus. At Eagle FM, we urge you to always wash your hands with soap or use hand sanitizers,
limit or avoid travel, and
Eagle FM, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Good afternoon to your listeners all over the country and abroad. Yeah, actually, I'm also listening to these things of dishonest in that regions of Katima. Really, to be honest, as human beings, we have to be fair to ourselves. Leaders, politician people, and society, we have to be really considering that God is watching your step. God is watching your move. And God does not like those who do not like other things to be done by his own creatures. What I'm saying is, these people who come to take these people away from that place without notification or without proper structure plan, it's a big mistake they have done. Whenever you want to take somebody, you consult with the people. There is elders, that's what I'm saying, traditional elders here. You meet the people, ask the people, consult, bring the people, let the people speak with their heart what they want. Then from there you able to understand what is their problems. And from their problems is where you can now say, let us have an agreement between you and us. This is what we can able to do for you, and this is what you can able to be given for the time being or for the temporary as we are given. For example, you build a house, maybe 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. You give the people the place for them to be living there. Before you transfer the people, first of all, if there is no the plan of that place be divided, you count the people first. How many people are there in that place where you want to transfer them? You get all that numbers. And then from there, you now put each and every plot of that person. Now from there, you can able to say now, each and every person, what is your needs? Because human being need water. Human being need food. Human being need shelter. Human being need money to do business so that they cannot be useless and wasting time. You have to put this person so that he can start doing small business so that he can create his own sustenance. Because the bucket and of his own hands, poverty is in his own hands. If he uses what you are going to give him, then the responsibility will be on his own hand. But if you are the one as a leader, you want to help these people, you are desperate of helping them. You go first and listen to what they are saying, and then know that the things you want to do for them, are there structures planned already in the place? Is there enough space for all these people? And then the same time, the mistake that they do, you cannot take me from where I belong, and then you want to transfer me to a place where it's not safe, it's not even properly done. Now, what was the purpose of you start taking me out from poverty and take me to again another poverty, to eat again poverty? So that is why they make a big mistake, and they must make sure that they correct this mistake immediately, in fact, so that the people cannot have a bad thought about what is happening. Because me, my own, if I judge them now, according to what I listen to all, I'm thinking that they want to use that place for other purpose of them. So it's like you are taking, for example, you take somebody from the gutter and then you are taking him again to the gutter. You understand what I mean? So that hospital eat rubbish. Now you yourself as a leader, you don't want to eat the rubbish. You don't want to you don't want in the gutter. But why do you want because this person does not have money, it does not have a strength to get what you want, so you want to push him again to go beg. And you want your people to not to be suffer. Poverty is becoming too much. And we, Namibia, honestly, we have to be very faithful people. We are number 3 in natural resources. So all these natural resources, among these natural resources, are in this Katima, Tavango, other places. Namibia, the rest of these 14 regions. What are we really trying to present? Are we trying to say that God is not pleased with us, or we are not pleased with our people? No, it's a shame. As my caller says, it's a shame and embarrassment to hear certain things. When you organize your things, you are going to be right. You consult the people. Let's go there as leaders. Hear what the people they want. Hear their cry. That is what you call a good leader. That is what you call a human being. Because we have to think as human rights. We are human beings. You cannot want to see somebody suffer for the rest of his life, and then you are feeling good. You have a car, you are driving, your bank is full, your children are going to school, and then other people are suffering. And we are seeing these things not in our eyes. That is why we are saying that some of the leaders must consult the citizen. When you want to do good for somebody, ask the person, what can I help you? Let the person speak. So thank you very much. I hope that this message will go to all of the leaders in Katima and the leaders of Namibia and every society that also have concern. And I pray that God give them good heart in their heart and open up their eyes in their mind so that they can know the truth and do good for their people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Okay, man. Have a blessed day.
Likewise.
It's exactly 19 minutes past the hour of 2, and you continue to listen to On the Radar on Eagle FM. Now moving over to our regional news, and in Malawi, police in Mochi have arrested a 38-year-old mother on suspicion that she secretly convinced her husband to defile his stepdaughter as a way of sustaining her marriage. Now, last Friday, the court ordered the arrest that after one of the girls, a 14-year-old, implicated the mother during a court proceeding where the father, who is 43, was handed a 21-year jail term. Now, Ngoti Police Station spokesperson Amini Doughty has confirmed the arrest, and that on Friday, the senior residence magistrate court convicted the husband to a 20 years imprisonment with hard labor for defiling his 14-year-old stepdaughter, contrary to the section 138 of the penal code. Now, according to the public relations officer, the prosecutor inspector has heard that the convict marriage of the victim's mother in 2012 and found her with 6 children, including the victim. Now, in May 2001, the mother of the victim put to bed and secretly convinced with the accused to be sleeping with the victim as a charm to secure her marriage with the accused. Now, the convict has been having unprotected sex with the victim because she was on a 5-year contraceptive method called Norplant, and it was also discovered during investigation that the convict also started sleeping with his elder stepdaughter to the extent that he fathered her a child. Now, investigations also revealed that the mother had a hand in hand both arrangements, and on November 2nd, 2021, after being victimized for so long, the girl gathered courage and narrated the story to the chairperson of Good Hope Youth Club, who reported the matter to the police. Now, the results from the Ngochi District Hospital confirmed that the victim was defiled, and appearing in court, the accused pleaded not guilty for the charges pertaining to 4 witnesses who testified and proved the case beyond reasonable doubt. Now, passing the judgment, the senior resident magistrate has said that he would then remain in custody and the request for police to arrest the mother, bring her to court, as well as to prosecute her in this matter. Now, moving over to South Africa, 5 elephants who were on the loose in a village in South Africa have been recaptured.
He then turned the gun on himself. The man was rushed to the hospital in a serious condition and was charged with murder. Earlier, Monene's family described her relationship with the man as toxic. Hymns rang through the church, offering comfort to Monene's family, who could not hold back their tears. As the memorial service got underway, the program director, Lembo Kumalo, who had worked with Monene, said on the day of the murder, Monene had been addressed to the nines, as was usually the case. Kumalo said she walked into working saying, "Look how beautiful I am." She was look very beautiful. Monene will be buried in Gauteng. Monene will be buried in Gauteng village in Mokapane, Limpopo on Saturday.
Now moving over to DRC, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress in DRC celebrates 40 years of existence.
On Tuesday, February 15, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress celebrates 40 years of existence in DRC. The anniversary of what used to be the main opposition party comes with achievements. For the first time ever, a Union for Democracy and Social Progress member is serving as president. Felix Tshisekedi is the son of one of the founding members of the party. If the curfew imposed at the start of the COVID outbreak was lifted on Monday, there will be no major event to mark the occasion. The UDPS interim president Kabuya merely suggested to take part in religious gatherings to celebrate the day. Many challenges await the president's party. In late January, Jean-Marc Kabund, who served as the leader of the party when Tshisekedi was sworn in, was expelled. Last week, it's François Beya, the president's former security advisor, who was arrested on suspicion of coup plotting. Next year's presidential and legislative elections will be a test as Tshisekedi bids to stay in power.
Now moving over to Ethiopia, Ethiopian lawmakers have voted to end the country's 3-month state of emergency.
Ethiopia's parliament has voted for an early end to a 6-month state of emergency declared in November when rebellious Tigrayan forces had threatened to march on the capital. The parliament's decision on Tuesday came after the cabinet last month proposed cutting short the state of emergency in light of improving security conditions in the country. After swift advances in November, most of the rebellious forces have since retreated back to their region, Tigray, and there are signs of a tentative thaw in relations between the warring sides. Of the 312 lawmakers who attended the session early Tuesday, 63 opposed lifting the state of emergency, while 21 abstained from the vote. It was not immediately clear whether the state of emergency would be lifted directly following Parliament's vote. Ethiopia's war erupted in November 2020 and have caused the deaths of tens of thousands of people and the displacement of millions, though the war has subsided in several places, notably within the Tigray and Amhara regions. Concerns remain in the northeastern Afar region.
Now in Tunisia, refugees protest against the UNHCR demanding immediate evacuation.
They stand still, just as their lives were forced to be at a standstill. These refugees from Sudan and sub-Saharan African countries protest in Tunisia. On Monday, they staged a sit-in in front of the headquarters of the UN Refugee Agency in the southern city of Jarjis. "We don't have any problem with the citizens, nor with the Tunisian government. Our problem lies with the UNHCR, which has forced us refugees to stay here all this time, wasting years of our lives. There are refugees who have been in Tunisia for 5 or 7 years. The UNHCR completely marginalizes us, abuses us, and behaves in an inhuman way." As they chanted, demonstrators demanded immediate evacuation from Tunisia, where some have experienced ill treatment, Many hoped to rely on the UNHCR with the refugee status, but now claim their cases are mishandled. The international community and human rights organizations are urged to take immediate action. Every refugee who wants to make reasonable and legitimate claims to the UNHCR should contact the Tunisian Refugee Council, their partner in the Tunisian government, who is retaliating against us by delaying our files, moving us from one office to another, from northern to southern Tunisia, so that we go back to Libya. Just like 19,500 migrants who tried to cross the Mediterranean last year, these women and men were rescued during attempts to reach Europe. They now want to be evacuated and start over.
That is what we're getting from our regional and continental news. This is the end of our show for On the Radar News Bulletins. It's exactly 31 minutes past the hour of 2, and I'll be handing over to my colleague Helen, who's in the Ondangwa studio, to take you over some Oshivambo news. And for me, Rudolph in studio, it's goodbye until tomorrow.
Speak your mind while respecting the opinions of others.
How can you say Namibia